Well, it's happening. I've been watching this unfold for several months. In January 2026, I started keeping a log of the news headlines, tagging each one with the sign it indicated. That log of the list of news posts became a Google Sheet so that others could join in with the activity. It seemed overwhelming as the flood of news came in, until we took a step back and started to look at the forest rather than the individual trees. Just counting the number of news items for each sign was an eye-opener. There were reports coming in for each and every one of the signs that Jesus told us to look for before the start of the tribulation period, even though many of them don't get attention from mainstream media, and so they're easy to miss. And we started to look at some graphs and charts to try to show the forest overview and not just the trees. The overwhelming amount of detail from the world's 24/7 news cycle is so relentless that it's difficult to appreciate. What we find is that obviously at the beginning of March 2026, the indicators of wars and rumors of wars is highly dominant. It's not just Russia, Ukraine, Iran and the Middle East, but Venezuela, Cuba, Mexico, and now elsewhere in South America, as well as Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Thailand, Cambodia, and there's a lot of reporting on war because it's something that draws viewers to advertising-supported commercial media. However, set aside war as a sign and look at the next ones. Together, the top 5 signs make up 75% of the reporting, and the top 9 about 89%. But then, instead of being captivated by the numbers, note again what those numbers represent. Wars and rumors of wars, distress, famines, floods, earthquakes, understanding about the rapture and the coming of Jesus, the Son of Man, deception, which includes some of the output of artificial intelligence, dreams and visions, talk and treaties about peace and safety, knowledge increasing. All of these things we're seeing every day. These numbers give solid reasons for the uneasiness that many of us feel, the insight that all is not right in the world. It's certainly not comfortable. And there's been an increase over time. What really caught my attention and made me feel the urgency to warn about the times we're living in was when I began to plot the number of signs reported each day since partway through January 2026. It's obvious that there's been an absolutely massive increase in reporting in the last week of February and the beginning of March 26. A hockey stick curve is a type of graph that resembles the shape of an ice hockey stick, featuring a flat blade that sharply rises to form a long handle. This type of graph is often used in various fields, such as economics and climate science, to illustrate a sudden increase after a period of stability. Well, in the current signs of the times, what we see is more than a hockey stick curve. This is much more significant. The sudden and recent, undeniable spike in signs of the end times is remarkable. What we see is that there is a sudden, dramatic, and recent increase in the volume of reported news for several of the signs in the most recent period. What's even more interesting is that if we remove the influence of the very dominant indicators for wars and rumors of wars, then each of the next 5 signs is also showing exactly the same pattern of recent and sudden increase. The signs are speaking, maybe even shouting consistently. They're warning that time is running out, that the stability we take for granted is over. But in John chapter 14, Jesus said, Don't let your hearts be troubled. Trust in God, and trust also in me. There is more than enough room in my Father's home. If this were not so, would I have told you that I'm going to prepare a place for you? When everything is ready, I will come and get you, so that you will always be with me where I am.